Hi everyone, Marianne Cowan here from Pinery Paper Crafts. Just getting set up. Just back in from the garden. Such a beautiful day. We've been spoiled with this weather. Just want to make sure that I'm in the right spot. And we'll see if anyone's going to join me. You might be out in your garden too. All right, just wait a little bit. It's almost 3 o'clock. And today we're going to do one of my favorite techniques, which is heat embossing. And oftentimes I do it ahead of time, but today I thought I would do it with you in case some people have never done heat embossing before. It's like a magical card making technique. There's always oohs and ahs every time. Hi Pat. Every time I have a card class and I do heat embossing, you can hear from the counter where people are heat embossing. It's like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. So we are going to do heat embossing today because some people who are joining me may not have done heat embossing before. So we're going to make 3 cards today. We're going to use some product from the new upcoming catalog, which goes live on June 3rd. Just coming up. Just trying to find. This is the paper that we're going to be focusing on. Forever Greenery Designer Series paper. You know I love this paper. And to be fair, we were only able to order a couple of times, a couple of different papers from the new catalog in our pre-order. So I've been using this one a lot. Pat, I just came in from my sunny backyard, so I'm in my craft studio now. Hi Lisa. Okay, so we're using this designer series paper and we're using the coordinating stamp set, which is called, I don't know all the names yet, and I have it all, Forever Fern. There we go. Forever Fern. I have my blocks on my desk since I opened it because I use it all the time. All right, so Forever Fern stamp set. And we are using some of the coordinating dies, but then we're also using some of the punch outs from the Forever Gold Specialty Designer Series paper, which is beautiful. It's beautiful. It's stunning. So we're going to be using some of that for accents. All right, so we're going to be making 3 cards. One, a simpler card. I'm just going to move this stuff out of the way. That's all my heat embossing. And we're going to start with this card because we're going to do stamping on this card. So I have a piece of the designer series paper. This is that side. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to decide. But I want to go a little bit neutral because I'm going to be stamping some images up here. I have a 1/2 inch of gold foil. So my card base, Whisper White, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. This piece is 2 inches by 5 1/4, and this is 5 1/4 by 1/2 inch. So we're just going to quickly glue these 2 together. This is for my other card. We'll just get my snail. I'm going to grab a little piece of paper because I don't want my snail to go all over my workspace. Okay, so we're just going to put the gold on top of the green, or you can put it behind, whichever way you prefer. I just want a little, making sure that's kind of straight. It's not really. Good thing I didn't press it down too much. All right, that looks good. I'm going to do a little tiny pencil mark on each side to let me know where I want my ferns coming up. So I have my extra little piece. Hi Cindy. I hope it's beautiful and sunny where you are as well. So I just chose a couple of the greenery elements from the stamp set. a greeting, and these fun little splatters, I guess is what you'd call them. So I'm going to work with Mossy Meadow. I hope that doesn't have ink on it. It's making me think that it does. Just going to quickly wipe it. When it's red rubber, it's hard to tell if there's red ink on it. Okay, I think it's good now because we don't want red on green. And Pear Pizzazz. So those are the colors I'm going to work with. I'm going to use Mossy Meadow for my greeting. So I'm going to use these two kind of for the ferns. So let's just go ahead and open them up. And I'm going to start with my big tall one. And I'm going to do it in Pear Pizzazz. So remembering that this is my line that my paper is going to come up to. Let me just check and make sure. Yes, more or less. So I'm going to start by stamping a couple of times. I don't want them all the exact same height, and I do want my greeting over here. Actually, no. Okay, so I'm going to do this little, and now I still have a bit of ink on it, not a lot. So I'm going to do this one lightly up in the corner. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to come in with my smaller leaves and soft seafoam, so quite a bit lighter. Put this one up a little bit. This one's soft enough I'll be able to do my greeting over top. Now I'm wondering if I want to come in off the sides. Just going to put my piece on and see if I like it. Okay, this one you can hardly see. I'm going to go ahead and do one from, no, that'll look dumb. I'm going to just do one back over here. All right, I don't know if I like it as much. So this one is a quick and easy card. So now I'm going to do my greeting, which was not this one. That's for my, to a friend that makes me smile. I'm going to put it right in the corner. Okay, kind of straight. And then I'm going to do a few of these little splatters. Okay, that looks good. You don't want to do too much ink, because this is just supposed to be a quick and simple card. Just get that all out of the way. Now we're going to go ahead and put this back on. And I am noticing that I do have a little bit over here, but I think it'll look fine. Alright, so I'm looking for my pencil marks, and I can go right over them, and I don't have to, no I can't because I have to go in a little bit. Alright, and then I can just take my eraser, erase those little pencil marks. Alright, so it's pretty simple right now, but I think I'm going to add a bow. So I'm deciding what color of bow I'm going to add. I'm going to try this gold, new gold twine that we're going to have coming up in the new catalog. It might need something a little bigger, but let's just try this. You know, I kind of have my design in my head when I start this, and then I kind of make it up as I go. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so let's add a little glue dot. We will have to squish it up a little bit so it's not sticking out the edges. I'm glad it's beautiful at your place, Cindy. It's beautiful here too. There's a nice breeze, it's not too hot. All right, so that's our first card. Simple. and we'll work our way up to a little more elaborate. So sometimes you just need a quick and easy card, and I think that's a pretty card that someone would like to receive. And of course you can decorate the envelope or decorate inside. Let's just add a little sprig inside while we're at it. So I'm going to take my pear pizzazz and just stamp a couple in the corner. There, see how much prettier that is? And then you could do the same for your envelope as well. Okay, that's all the stamping we're going to be doing. So there's card number 1. Card number 2 is this one. And then we'll do our heat embossing because it's always the wow factor. So again, we're using the same, it's actually the same sheet of paper. You'll notice I cut one strip. The paper comes 12 by 12, so I went over 5 1/4 and cut this one at 4, this one at 2, and then the next one at 4 as well. And I still have 2 little strips left over. So it's good to try to figure out how to get the best bang for your buck with your paper. Okay, so let's start with this as the base. So I'm going to find my snail. Put adhesive on the back, whatever adhesive you use. Stampin' Up is coming out with a new adhesive in the new annual catalog, but I haven't seen it yet. We couldn't pre-order it. And I hope it comes, I'm glad the catalog's coming soon because I'm almost out of adhesive. All right, so 5 1/4 by 4, and the base is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. First layer. Then I took the Starburst punch. I'll go on this side because of the glare. It's retiring, so make sure you get this one. It's a great one to have in your craft room. And these products, the retiring products, are only here until June 2nd. Then they transition everything over to the new catalog. This one is my go-to punch. And the white circle is the 2-inch. Also, I think, retiring. A whole bunch of them are retiring. So 2-inch, and the Starburst, you can see, is just a smidgen bigger. I don't know if smidgen is a word. Then I've stamped Sending Healing Hugs, which is from the So Sentimental stamp set, available now. This is a great stamp set. I can't thank you enough. Your friendship is a blessing. This calls for confetti. I made a card with that just the other day. Wishing you much happiness today and always. A great stamp set. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this. See, good thing paper has 2 sides. The first one I did a little wiggle, so I got a bit of ink there, so I just flip it over and you use the other side. That's what's fun about paper. And you know what? If it still messes up, you just cut another piece. All right, so there we've got our Sending Healing Hugs. Then I've taken one of the little strips I had left over, and it is 1 inch, so I cut it down to 1 inch, and then this is about 3/4 inch of gold, and I'm just going to layer that up a little bit. Let's do it this way. I just want a little gold accent because I'm going to be putting a couple of little gold fernery. Fernery is definitely not a word. Okay, do I want it like that? Yeah, I kind of do. Alright, I'm getting glue all over the place here. Okay, this one I'm putting behind, and I am going to have it kind of stick out at the end. I don't know. I like it. Now, I've gathered some things from my little tray. As you know, I like to have a little tray of pre-cut greenery and elements. I have some in vellum, some in green. That's Sahara sand. These ones were stamped and then die cut. And these ones are from that gold specialty paper set. They're absolutely beautiful. This one I cut from the die cuts out of gold. So I've just pulled a couple that I think I'll use, and we can see what we like. So I want this, here's my thinking, I want this to be coming out of here, and then all my greenery to be coming out of the back of here, or kind of the circle and the back. All right, so I think what I'm going to do first is maybe glue these together so I kind of know where I'm going. And I'm going to use glue dots actually, just because I'm not exactly sure where I want it. So glue dots are just another one of the great adhesives that Stampin' Up carries, and I use them for everything. Okay, so that looks good. This is just a little interest piece. It doesn't really do much for the card. Well, I guess it does. Okay, so now we're going to play around with these. So I put my vellum is the biggest one, so that's going to go in the back. Then I have this funky little one cut out of the new jade paper. So I was thinking of that next. Oopsie. And then I have this one, which was one of the big sprigs, and I cut it off the other piece and used it for something, which is fine. Oh, I like that, how it kind of overlaps. And then I was just going to put 2 gold accent pieces. I have a little piece of gold here, and then 2 little gold accent pieces. So there's one. This one's smaller, and then this one is got a nice long stalk on it. Maybe there. I like it. So now I'm just going to pull this off and see if I can glue dot this down. There's probably another way you can do this, but let's see if this works. That one was there. If you push on the back, these ones kind of pop up. The gold one I'll probably have to do differently. Oopsie, that one moved. Which one? Okay, so I do want to make sure, oh, that just broke off. Darn. I do want to make sure that that one is able to do that. Okay, I like it. And I'm realizing these are they're fragile because I just pulled that off with the glue dot. Okay, so this one I put the glue dot on the front, and then I'm going to tuck this one in at the very end. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on, and I'm going to snail it. I could pop it up, but I'm not sure I want to. So let's go ahead and put that back. I want this one kind of hanging over, is my idea. Okay, now this one is not glued in, so let's just put a glue dot on this one and we'll see where best to put it. So I can pop it in and then press down and it'll stay. So I kind of squished it all up. I do want it visible. There, I like that. Now I did have a, what bow did I, oh, I have this bow. I was going to say I did have a bow. Yes, I like that. So this is one of the new combos of ribbon. This beautiful gauze ribbon and this gold thread, I want to call it. This comes as a combo set, which is nice. So you don't have to buy both ribbons separately. You get them both together. Okay, so my thought was to put it right here. I don't want to hide too much of this stuff, but I think it'll look good there. And this is a fairly big bow, so I'm going to put 2 glue dots on. It's also very easy to tie, which you know, that's my test of bows. All right, so there's the second card. Still using those same elements. And the last card, let's get some of this stuff out of the way. So we have our simple, our quick and easy stamping. Then we have our a little more layers. And now we're going to do one with gold embossing. So gold embossing, or when we do embossing, we use Versamark, which is actually an ink, a glue stamp pad. So when you adhere your stamp, you're actually adhering glue instead of ink. And then you use a special embossing powder that when you heat it, it does magical things. It heat sets it. You'll have to kind of look at it to see what's going to happen. So I have my last card here using that same sheet of paper. Just get these elements out of the way. Now I'm using this side again. So we can go ahead and adhere that to our card. Breaks my heart covering up this piece. I love that the paper is double-sided, but it drives me crazy because I can never decide which side to use. Well, not never, but like these gold elements, it would kill me to use the white side because the gold is just so pretty. But I'm sure I will. All right, that's done. That's ready. Then I have a 2-inch circle, again using my 2-inch circle punch. And then I've used the stitched shape dies and cut out the second biggest circle from gold foil. So this is going to go like this. So now we're going to heat emboss our greeting. So the greeting that I've chosen is "All days are beautiful that begin with you." Isn't that nice? It's so pretty. So one thing you want to do is use this little embossing buddy, and what you do is you just rub it over your paper and it gets rid of the static, so you don't have gold dust, which is just like gold dust, all over the place. So I think it's some kind of powder in there. So then you take your stamp, ink it up. It's a circle, so I'm happy I don't need to worry about it being straight because you just turn the circle. Give it some good pressure, pop it off, and now you'll be able to see your image. And that image, that saying, is from Floral Essence. And this is continuing, and there's a punch that goes with that I used yesterday. So here's my gold powder. I like to put it in a container with a little spoon. I just dump out I leave the jar in there so I remember what it is. I could label it, but I'm too lazy. So I just take my gold and I sprinkle it on, give it a good tap. You can give it a little flick. Then put your lid back on. This is the teacher in me talking, because once you add heat, you could have it spraying all over. I do also use a little tiny paintbrush. I want to say from the dollar store. And any powder that you see that just looks like powder, get rid of it, because once you heat it, it will be gold. Then what I do is I have a clipboard from the dollar store for sure. This is going to be noisy for a second. And then you take your heat tool and you heat set it. Just going to let it do its magic because it is pretty fun to watch. And it works better if your heat tool is already heated up, which I should have done. And you can see now it's just starting to heat. I don't know if you can actually see how pretty it is, but it's so pretty. Heat embossing is so fun. I love heat embossing white on dark colors, and gold is always a winner. We'll just let it dry for a second. It doesn't need a long time to dry. Now, you can see why I said put this away. It's like a hair dryer, so it would be blowing this dust all over the place. That would be bad. Very bad. Okay, so we'll give this a second. Let's go back to our card. And so we have a bunch of elements that we're going to put on our card. So this one I cut out. I die cut using the Flourishing dies, Forever Flourishing dies with gold foil. And these other elements are from the gold specialty paper. And I know now to be careful with this because I'll wreck it. I already did my bow. Here's some other ones. I'm not sure how many I'm going to put on. So I just pulled a bunch out, and I could add some white if I want to, but I might just stick to gold. Maybe a little vellum. Let's find a vellum one. Just finding a regular leafed vellum one. Okay, here's one that I've used the top piece, so I still have the bottom piece. Here's another one I've used the top piece and still, oh, that one too. You can see this is the exact same one. And then you can just cut it apart and use the different pieces. So this is obviously a popular one because I've used it on all three of these. Okay, so we're just going to leave this here and play around with our gold. So I think I want to have gold at the very back. And it could be as big as this because it's just these elements and this and the bow going on the card. So I actually like that right there. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. So I'm getting a glue dot again. Just going to close my door because my husband just came in. Okay, so this is kind of our guide. So then I might add this. Now I'm going to change and add this one because it's a different leaf shape and I can get a bit more height. Yeah, I like that right there. I think it almost will fit. Let's see. Okay, that's good. I still might use that. These ones are so pretty. Look how pretty this is. Oh my gosh, it's so dainty. It is very dainty, so it might get lost in what you're doing. You have to be careful. It almost needs its own special spot. Like maybe down here. Because if you just stick it in here, it kind of gets lost in everything else. We could put it there as well. Let's just leave it there for a second. So we've got gold, vellum. Now we need some more gold. See what I have here. No, I don't think that's going to work. Let's try one of these. I don't want to get carried away, as you know I can. Okay, so that one may be there. I'm just going to leave it for a second. This one is very dainty. You can always put one on top as well and have it hidden under here. I think I'm going to do that with this one. Okay, that one's going right there. So don't be afraid to put it in different parts of your card. So some tucked behind the gold, some tucked behind the white. It just gives it more depth. Kind of like it just like that. Don't know about that one on the left yet, but there, that's going to go right there. And I'm thinking maybe one more. Let me see. Bring this one back. I think this one needs to go down here. Yes, right there. Oopsie. Okay, right there. Try to, hope I'm still in camera. Oopsie. I tend to start pulling it towards me to create. Okay, so let's see. This is good enough to glue on now, so it usually dries pretty well right away, but I don't want to chance it. Now, I want to remember where I want this because that's going to tell me which way to put my greeting. Okay, that's good. And I might pop this up. Undecided. I don't know. I'm not sure about this Lone Ranger over here. Oh, there is this one too. I want to use them all on one card though. I do kind of like it. I'm going to have to buy some more of this paper. All right, let's put it on, and we'll not put that one on. I'll compromise. Okay, let's see if I can get this the way I want it. Okay, so I think that we're going to leave that one. We're going to add that because I want this one to kind of go right in between. And I think I do want to pop it up. I hope you guys are having a good weekend so far. Definitely barbecue weather. We've gone from covering my plants to now they're drying out. They're so hot. Okay, so remembering that I want this one kind of right in the middle. That looks good. And then my bow is going to go either right there or right there. I think it gets lost there. I think I'll put it down there. And then I'm going to go and grab my little gems because I think I might add a few little, seeing as this card, the theme is definitely gold. Okay, I like that. And don't forget you can fray the edges of this and it will do it on its own anyways. So I'm going to grab, I've started keeping all my dimensional, these aren't dimensionals, all my gems and jewels and stuff in one little case. It's easier for when I do my Facebook Lives. So here's the gilded gems. We also have these gold, sorry I don't remember the name. They're in the current catalog. So available now. And I think they're carrying over. Don't quote me on that, but I think so. All right. Definitely needs, I want to put one of these really big ones over here. This is like a snazzy card. And I'm going to add some to the other ones because we do have some elements of gold in all our cards. And I'm going to add one of these teeny tiny ones. So you can see how using one little strip of cards of designer series paper allows you to make all of these pretty cards. These ones are more coppery. So I'm going to stick with these little gold ones. Let's add a couple here. Oopsie. Sometimes it doesn't like when I poke at it. I think I'll add a medium size one. So they come in 3 sizes, large, medium, and small. I think I'll put another medium one, maybe over here. Okay, I think that's pretty. And this one just has a smidgen of gold. So let's just add a couple of little, it's actually got 4 sizes, large, not so large, smaller, small. So let's put the not so large up here. I don't know, a little bling just seems to add something to the card. There. All right. So there we go. 3 different cards using one 5 1/4 piece of designer series paper. So not quite half because it is 12 by 12. And I've used this side on this card and I've used the other side on the other 2 cards. This card, simple stamping. Add a little bit of bling, but I still think that's a really pretty card. We could have tucked one little piece of greenery in there, and even though I did the pencil mark, I should have gone up a little bit higher, I think, but I think it's pretty. This one we added a little more layers to it, and we added that other little panel, so we have the gold and the designer series paper. Don't forget the starburst and the 2-inch punch are retiring. And then this one has lots of gold going on. And so we have the gold stitched circle, heat embossed in gold with the gold twine and all the beautiful gold embellishments. And then our little gold gems. Okay, so I hope you're joining me on my mission to make a card, send a card. And I know someone would really like to get that in the mail. Any of these cards would be nice to get in the mail. And seeing as this situation is not ending anytime soon, I think it's a great time to be sending cards out to people that we love. So thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to make a card, send a card. Today is Saturday, tomorrow is Sunday. I will see you then, and I will post the measurements for the cards on my blog. Thanks for joining me, and have a great day.